Hey guys, DPG here, and have I got a video for you today. This should inspire all of you who have been sitting on the fence thinking about, starting your acting career or thinking about doubling down and really putting the pedal to the metal, so to speak, and getting into high gear with your acting career. This is the reason why now is the best time by far in history to either start your acting career and get involved or take it to the next level. If you've been sort of flirting on the sidelines a little, sitting on the bench, warming the pine, this is the time to get out there and go for it, because the demand for actors is skyrocketing through the roof. Why is that? Because the number of scripted shows worldwide has been increasing every single year since they started actually counting the total number of scripted shows back in the 70s. Every single year it's been going up and up and up and up. And that has been completely accelerated due to the advent of all of these streaming services. And the audience size for each show is decreasing. So back in the 70s, there was 3 primary networks, ABC, NBC, CBS. They each did, 10, 15, 20 shows, plus you've got some networks worldwide. But back in the 70s, there was basically 4 channels in the entire, actually, I think there was only 1 proper channel in the United Kingdom. And basically each country had a couple and they were state sponsored. America, as late as the 80s, they had maybe a dozen channels. So now you've got all these streaming services. They're making shows in every possible language. They're distributing them around the world. And here is why 2021, 2022 is in particular going to be monstrous. And that's probably going to work for the next several years, probably into the 23s, 24, maybe even 25, depending on what happens with the whole coronavirus thing. But 2020 was the first year since they've been keeping track of how many shows there are, scripted shows that use actors. 2020 is the first year they had a down year. They went from over 500 shows, I believe it was 530 shows, to 493 shows. So it dropped about 10%, which is a big drop in general, but it's the first year there was any kind of drop since they've been recording this. So you're thinking, David, why is it a good thing for me to be an actor if the number of shows is actually decreasing? And the reason is the shows that were shot and recorded and written decreased because of all of the restrictions caused by COVID and the pandemic. So a lot of studios simply could not shoot because of the restrictions, or what they could shoot was severely diminished because of all the testing protocols in place. It just took far more resources to get a show shot in 2020 than it has in any other year, by far. And, that has also blended into 2021, although there was some improvement. I don't have the numbers yet for 2021. But what has happened to demand, even though the number of shows has gone down? Demand has actually gone up. Why? Because so many people are sitting at home, bored out of their minds. They need entertainment. And so they're making less shows and there's more demand. So what does that cause? It causes a backlog, okay? There's a pent-up demand for more content. And, for instance, the HBO show Succession, people were dying to see season 3 of Succession, and they just couldn't shoot it for a full year or more. I don't know what the actual delay was, but they couldn't shoot it. Finally, they released it. People went bananas over it. They went absolutely bananas over it. And people are loving the shows that they do watch even more because they've had to wait so long, and they're so much more engaged now because there just isn't the selection of things to do like there was when there isn't a pandemic. Okay, so there's a backlog, meaning there's a pent-up demand. So when things start to normalize, or at least they're able to make adjustments so that they can shoot, whether there's a pandemic or not, the number of shows has now got to take into account the decrease, so it went down to 493. It's got to get back up to 532 because there was demand for that number of shows. Plus, you've got the increased demand for 2022. So if you just think of this is the way things usually go, then there's a dip. Now it's got to catch up and get ahead of where it was back here. Okay, so it went like this. Now it's going to go up here. And so, guys, the demand for actors is going to be bonkers. And there's also going to be more of a demand for actors in different places. Okay, in the past, using the Hollywood system, they could fly an actor anywhere they wanted in the world to shoot it. Now they can't do that because of the restrictions that have been imposed by the pandemic. Not only that, once you start using your own local actors, you start realizing I don't need a Hollywood actor because, you know, name recognition has diminished severely. There's really only a handful of big stars, and they can only be in a few places. They can only do a few things, and they're only right for a few things. So there's going to be a much greater demand and much greater opportunity for unknown actors who have the talent, but also know how to go about establishing their careers, which is, of course, where I come in, where Hack Hollywood comes in, where getting private career coaching comes in. If you get the right advice and you take action and you don't sit back and be passive, you don't sit back on the sidelines and wait for the phone to call, the phone to ring, then you're going to get a lot of opportunities that you otherwise would never have gotten, and that the average actor will never get because they are so passive about how they pursue their careers. So if you guys get aggressive and get imaginative, if you're as creative with how you present yourself and promote yourself as you are with your acting choices in life, then you're going to be really successful. So look for a huge 2022. I would say it could be even bigger in 2023. There's more and more streaming services coming online, and they're all making their own content. And yet the audience sizes are getting smaller and smaller. That's how they can accommodate more and more shows, because each show is getting so specific. It's almost like each one of us has their own show, and you fall in love with it and you feel like that's me personified in a TV show. That's what you're going to watch. Whereas before, things were much more generic because we lived in a much more generic world. Everybody looked the same, sounded the same. Now we all have our own voices and preferences, and they're making shows for all of us. So get out there, guys. This is the perfect time to start or keep going with your acting career. It's the best time in history, and I think it's going to carry on like that for the next 2 to 3, maybe even 4 years and beyond. We'll just have to wait and see. If you like this, please like, subscribe, share, click the bell for notifications. And if you do want your career to get to that next level, get in touch, and I'll let you know if I think I can help you in any way. Okay? Take care and all the best, and stay safe. Okay? Get the jab. Get the jab. Ow, I just got my third booster. It's a little tender. I'll talk to you soon.